This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Oh, baby, let's have some fun. It's time for another edition. Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo, taking you into your weekend, through your Thursday night, right into your Friday morning. And it's a big weekend. The Stanley Cup playoffs begin, the NBA playoffs begin, but not before we get the 8 seeds ironed out Friday night. We're going to break down those play-in games, the last of the bunch, right here on the program. Got a lot of baseball to get to. How about some terrific guests put together by our sensational producer, Jared Moore? We're going to be joined by former NBA player Ryan Hollins. Catch him now doing the Houston Rockets games on TV. And hey, this guy may or may not have a 27-1 Houston Rockets to win the West ticket in hand. We'll break down the Rockets and more with Ryan in just 15 short minutes. I can't wait for that. Later on in the program, our buddy Colby Dant from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network going to join the show, break down a little UFL action, and talk some NFL draft props. Colby, of course, the host of the College Experience over on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Guy breaks down college football like none other. We're going to break down the draft with Colby. It's going to be a fun one. I can't wait. We've got so much to get to. Non-stop action all weekend, but it can't start. The NBA playoffs can't start until the play-in concludes. And the Miami Heat are getting steam in the market, ladies and gentlemen. Look, we've been moving the market all week. Whether it was the Nerfy in the Braves-Blue Jays game yesterday that we got laying 30 cents and it closed at some shops laying 70 cents, right? It seems like everything we've done, it was the Heat and the Bam prop in the Heat-Bulls game, the play-in game, for the right to play Atlanta. We've been moving markets here on Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo, and it looks like we did it again. Miami was getting 1.5 over at FanDuel. They were plus 108 over there. Now, this game is either a pick'em or the Heat are favored just about anywhere you looked. And I'll tell you what, I think it's the right move. I think it is 1,000% the right move. I think the Miami Heat should be the favorites in this one. Do they have as good of a regular season as Atlanta? No, obviously not. 37-45, good for the 10 seed in the West, while the Hawks were 3 games better for the 8 seed. There's a reason the Hawks have home court in this one. But I think Miami is better equipped for a game of this caliber, for a play-in game here, for the right to actually go to the playoffs. Any team with Eric Spoelstra at the helm is going to be better equipped. Any team with championship experience, guys like Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, no Jimmy, no problem. Look, this is not a Miami Heat team that I'm touting over here that's going to go on and make a deep run in the playoffs. No, I think it's going to be a 5-game set with Cleveland, should it be Cavs Heat in the opening round. I think they might steal one in South Beach. Gentlemen's sweep, Cleveland in 5. I'm not saying this team's going to go on a run. I'm saying you look at Miami, you look at Atlanta, and I think the Heat are more equipped for this moment. And there's something to be said for that. No 10 seed has ever made the NBA playoffs in this new play-in format in its brief history. No 10 seed ever. Miami looking to be the first, and I think that they're going to get there. I think Bam Adebayo is going to play out of his mind, and we'll take a look at some props and what the market looks like for this game. But I think Adebayo is going to be sensational. Tyler Hero, you should expect to take a little step back, right? What is Chicago's MO, the Bulls' MO? They don't defend anyone, right? Chicago can score with the best of them, but they don't defend anyone. So Hero goes off for 38. Now, hi, how you doing? Meet Dyson Daniels. I don't think Tyler Hero is going to put up a damn near 40 piece in this one. However, he doesn't need to. Dyson Daniels may be the best defender on the Hawks, especially at the guard position. But the other guy next to him, Trae Young, while he might be a walking bucket, is a defensive liability. And so even if Hero has a bit of a slower night, I look for his teammates to pick him right up. Wiggins, Bam, Duncan Robinson could go off for a dozen or more, you name it. Hero might take a slight step back from where he was in that Bulls game, but I think that the supporting cast, the ancillary pieces on this Miami Heat team are going to step right up, and it's going to be the Heat going to Cleveland over the weekend. Give me Miami. We took him yesterday. Good thing we took him yesterday. What price did we get on that yesterday? We got plus 5 cents, plus 105 on the money line. Now you're looking at minus 105, minus 110, minus 115 at some shops. So we certainly beat the market with that by a few pennies. And I think it's the right side. I think the Miami Heat going to go into State Farm Arena from the United Center in Chicago and win on the road twice this week for the right to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's look at some point props, shall we? Bam Adebayo in this one. 20 plus on DraftKings is minus 25 cents. Although, this is the same stuff we were talking about the other night, right? Over 19.5 is minus 120, yet 20 plus is minus 125. Make it make sense? It doesn't. That's why you always scroll down, look at the over-under, try to save yourself a few shekels there. So Bam over 19.5, minus 20 cents. Tyler Hero, 25.5 is where his number's coming in. It's a good number. Look, he can go over 25.5 and still stay a dozen under where he was against the Chicago Bulls. So I don't know if that's a number I want to toy around with. I would look Trae Young. And I said, leaned over against the Magic. Didn't play it, but we talked about it. He went over, thanks to the free throw line. Very inefficient night from the floor. It was just, 8 of 21 in that game? If I'm not mistaken, he only hit 1 3. Finished with 28 points because he was 11 of 12 at the stripe. Over-under's 25.5 in this one. I would actually lean under in this spot. We saw Miami's defense on full display against the Chicago Bulls. Held them to 90. Held Kobe White to just 17. They didn't let anyone on the Bulls get anything. So as far as your top scorers in this one, Hero, 25.5, tough number. Trae, 25.5, lean under. Bam, 19.5. Look, we went 20 plus last time. He got 15. Probably not going to go there again. I would lean over 19.5 with Bam. But I think the play just stays as given. Heat money line. Got the best price. Why would we mess around and do anything differently on this one? How about the nightcap? Dallas, Memphis, 9:40 Eastern, 6:40 p.m. Pacific. Mavericks have gotten a little bit in the market here. It's gone from 6.5 to 6. Total opened 222.5. Got down to 221. Now it's living around 221.5. At least that's over at DraftKings. Always shop around VSiN.com. Great place to do so. Sign up now, by the way. $59 through August 1st. Can't beat that price. Best place to shop odds, every book in town, as well as the major mobile players. MGM, Caesars, FanDuel, DraftKings. Compare prices. Always get the best price you can grab. 221.5. My lean in this Dallas-Memphis game, over. I like that more than I like a side in this one. Although, make me play a side, probably going Mavs plus the 6. It's funny because I thought the Memphis Grizzlies were primed to wipe out whoever they faced, whoever won that 9-10 game. And then I saw an offensive side out of Dallas that I don't want to overreact to because it was one performance, but I haven't seen offense like that out of the Mavericks in quite some time. And different guys taking over. Klay Thompson, early with the big first half. What did he have, 14 or 16 in the first half? Cooled off a bit in the second half, but then Anthony Davis woke up. We checked in halfway through the second quarter. Davis had 4 points, finished with damn near 30. So Anthony Davis took over in the second half. P.J. Washington helped out a little bit. This Mavericks offense, I was surprised at how well they got it going against Sacramento. In that 14-point win, don't let that score fool you. That was a 22-point game with 2 minutes to go, right? 14 points is way closer than that game really was. The Mavericks were in utter, complete control from the second quarter on. Down 2 going into the second quarter, outscored Sacramento by 25 in that quarter, and never looked back. Look at some of the props in this one. AD, his over-under, 26.5. So is Ja Morant. I lean under on Morant because what does Dallas do well? They play defense. Offensively, I was shocked we got the output and the performance we did out of them in that Sacramento game. Defensively, it didn't surprise me one bit. In fact, that's why the total in that game moved so drastically, right? 223.5 where it opened at DraftKings, closed 213.5. Went over both of those numbers, by the way, and every which number in between. But Ja Morant, 26.5. I lean under. If I'm going to target anyone to go over their posted number, how about a look at Desmond Bane? 22.5. I believe this is higher. I believe it's a point or two higher than it was yesterday when we checked it out. But Desmond Bane, right now, and I said this going into the Grizzlies-Warriors game, you can argue Desmond Bane is currently the best player on the Memphis Grizzlies. And Ja was having a great game, and he had a great first half, and then he rolled his ankle. So I don't want to take anything away from his performance. It was a valiant one. But I'm a little worried about that ankle now. You know, I was saying yesterday, and I'll reiterate, I think it's easier to come back off a rolled ankle and play 5 minutes, 10 minutes later than it is 2 days later. Because that thing swells up like a you-know-what, and that becomes nightmarish. Now, look, it's the NBA, it's pro sports. You know, they're shooting him up in every which direction with painkillers and you name it, so he's going to give it a go. But I'm curious how effective and how impactful Ja Morant is going to be for the Grizzlies in this one. Under 26.5 points feels like the play. If you're looking for an over anywhere, Desmond Bane is the guy I would target. Love that guy. I mean, he really does it all. And how about the combo plays, you know? Not just points, but points, rebounds, assists. I mean, he looked like he was going to go way under his combo. I think he had 11, 1, and 2 at the half against Golden State. Finished, cleared it with ease. 30 points, grabbed some boards, dished out some dimes. Desmond Bane is playing like a superhero, not like a supervillain like his last name would indicate, like a superhero right now for the Memphis Grizzlies as they look to earn the right to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Folks, baseball season's upon us. We're a few weeks in, and ProfitX is offering the best odds all season long. ProfitX is, of course, a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in over 40 states, the first of its kind in the U.S. You'll be able to make your picks against other groups of fans rather than against the books. Exchanges guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. Think about that, cutting out the VIG. You can even request your own odds. So download ProfitX today, use the code VSIN, and earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. That's ProfitX. You don't want to miss out on the opportunity. You don't want to miss out on this spot up next. Ryan Hollins joins us. Going to break down the NBA playoffs with the former NBA player himself. It's Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo. All right, Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Thursday night, and with the NBA playoffs fast approaching, we're taking you over to the Progressive guest line here. I'm excited for this. We're going to welcome in 10-year NBA vet. You catch him now doing the Rockets games over on Rockets TV. Ryan Hollins joining us on the Progressive guest line. Ryan, how are you, my friend?
Good. How you doing?
Doing great. It's a pleasure to have you on. I'm excited to dive into this Houston team, which I think is being ridiculously disrespected. They're the 2 seed in the Western Conference, yet they're big underdogs, obviously taking on the Golden State Warriors in this series. 2 seeds since expansion, Ryan, 72-6 all time in the opening round against 7 seeds. How do you think this Houston team is taking it from what you're hearing, from what you've been around? Are they feeling the disrespect? Are they amped up for this series?
Yeah, well, our group of guys in the city are definitely amped up for the series. There's no question that. But of course, we have a group of guys that have succeeded with a chip on their shoulder, definitely including our head coach in his career. So the villain role, the underdog, whatever you'd like to say, they're excited to play it, you know, and they're more comfortable in those roles than maybe as the heavy favorite, you know, and with all due respect, that's where Curry and the Warriors have been comfortable. They're used to being world champs. They're used to being top dogs. So, again, you got 2 teams extremely comfortable in their roles, but the chip on the shoulder for the Houston Rockets, I do believe that's going to play a huge part.
Now, you look at this team, right, and I've been saying that you can argue Houston is the second best defensive team in the West, only behind Oklahoma City, who's just absolutely in another atmosphere defensively. When you look at Golden State, it seems that the offense is Steph, Jimmy, and then it's a question mark on who's going to be the next man up. How well equipped do you think the Rockets are to really isolate those 2 and try to make Golden State's ancillary scorers, their next man up, beat them?
Yeah, I think they did a great job in their last meeting. Houston was just fantastic, not just on Curry, but communicating. And when you play against the Warriors, you really have to talk. Steph Curry extends your defense out with screens, with coming off screens so far out that what happens is you get Kevon Looney, you get Draymond, you get those guys cutting to the basket, Pajemski wide open. They end up getting wide open layups. If you don't communicate within a split hair second, you're going to end up getting a layup. And a lot of times you just have to go out there and improv and play basketball. So I think that's going to be the challenge for Houston. But they are the most equipped, and it was the best that I've seen Curry defended possibly in my lifetime, either covering the NBA or playing against them.
Ryan, I want to work our way around the rest of the Western Conference here, but before we move off of the Rockets, I'm holding on to a 27-1 ticket on the Rockets to win the West. I saw this price, thought it was egregious that a 2 seed would be such a long shot with teams in the play-in priced with better odds than Houston, so I had to play it on principle. How far can this team go in your estimation? It's a big jump from where they were a year ago.
I'd be lying if I said it was impossible for them to come out the West. Obviously, the Lakers are going to be tough. Golden State is going to be tough in these early rounds. But moving forward, they actually match up with Oklahoma City extremely well, possibly better than anybody in the West. And I think there's a lot of question marks. I think you're still going to look to see who are the Lakers in the playoffs and who are the Warriors. You know, you got two teams that made in-season trades that you're going to tell me that you're going to favorite to come out of the Western Conference. So again, I think things are absolutely wide open. I think it's matchups. I think it's tempo. And again, it wasn't until this season that Houston had beat Golden State in some years, but with some of those 2 wins, there's a lot you can glean. And with Houston being young, they've been able to improve in the season during the year. And that's kind of the gem that these younger teams can get. Now, the problem is they haven't had the experience as a whole. You got Fred VanVleet, you got Dylan Brooks, you got Jason Tate. You got a couple of these guys that have Jeff Green. A couple of these guys have playoff experience, even championship experience. So how does that blend? How does that mesh? We'll have to look at it moving forward. But again, man, I think there's question marks on both sides, and you can look at Houston's depth, and you can say, man, how long is it going to take for them to adjust to the playoffs? And these young guys can be the difference, and they're going to have to play well or at least be serviceable.
And even though they might lack some experience on the court, some of these young guys, I think with a guy like Ime Udoka motivating them, they're going to be ready. I could imagine what those practices look like right now, and I'm sure these guys are going to be ready for the moment and ready to go. 10-year NBA vet Ryan Hollins with us now on the Progressive Guest Line. Catch him all over Houston Rockets television nowadays. Ryan, I want to switch gears and talk about a team that you played more games with than any other team throughout your career, the LA Clippers, because I love this series for the Clippers, and they were underdogs when things opened up. They were plus 135 to win the series. Now it seems like the public has followed suit with me here because this thing is a dead even pick'em, minus 110 each way. Clippers, Nuggets. What's your read on this series?
Forgive me, I forgot about the Clippers. They are the scariest team in the Western Conference right now. And the reason I do say that, man, I got to give them credit. Obviously, they didn't see – we saw them about a week or two ago. Houston wasn't full strength, but James Harden had been making some moves that I hadn't seen since he was in Houston, and Kawhi Leonard had a pop in his step. And the challenge would be, is Kawhi Leonard going to be healthy through the entire playoffs? Now, he's played just absolutely lights out, and then we seem to get this news that Kawhi Leonard's out for the playoffs, and it's been time and time again, but this year, the Clippers really held him out. He really just worked out. He really got healthy. He really did a lot of those things. So he is going to be the game changer. But again, man, I'm telling you, if anybody in the NBA, the Clippers are peaking at the right time. So, yeah, that is a matchup. And thanks for reminding me to definitely keep your eye on. And it's a scary one, again, because Kawhi Leonard is such a variable getting inserted into the lineup that you don't have a matchup for him, for the way that he can score, the way he commands double teams, and again, defend. So he's not the same Kawhi, but he's still really darn good.
Yeah, and the Clippers 13-1 the last 14 games that Kawhi has been out there playing for him. How about another team you spent some time with? Minnesota taking on the Lakers. What's your read on this series? Who do you have winning it? How many games, give or take, will it go? The over-under on games is 5.5 in this one. What are your thoughts, Lakers, Wolves?
Not to be Shannon Sharp, but I do think it could be Lakers in 5. Anthony Edwards is unbelievable, but the problem is he works so hard and he can run out of gas. And we've seen that from him before. Now, the older he gets and his game gets more simple, I think he's going to be an absolute megastar in the league. And not to say that he isn't already, but right now he's playing on all heart, all emotion. At some point, man, it is really tough to keep that up. But keep in mind, he is absolutely box office, and he's going to be coming to make a statement against the Lakers, and it's going to be some must-see TV with his personality, but it may be too little too late, and I think losing Karl Anthony Towns may have not seemed like much at first, But I'm telling you, man, Minnesota is not the same, and they are hurting without him.
Ryan, you don't sound like Shannon Sharpe. You don't sound like anyone else. I had the same pick earlier in the week. I said Lakers in 5. So I love the pick. I love that we're on the same side there. Let's shift gears to the East a little bit before I let you go here. I want to ask you about the Cleveland Cavaliers. How legitimate of a threat are the Cavs to Boston? Because some people are looking at this Eastern Conference and saying, let's just press fast forward and see who Boston's going to face in the finals. Can Cleveland knock off the Celtics, especially with home court, should they meet in the conference finals?
They could, but it's going to be about Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley's going to have to be, in the 22 to 25 points per game category for them to win. If he's not, they don't have a chance. He's the guy, as he matures, that takes them to the next step. And, he may not be there. He's so far ahead defensively. He's long, he's athletic, he's got great touch around the rim, but he doesn't necessarily space the floor. Now, going out and getting Hunter via trade was a big pickup, and that was all about Boston, having the size, having the big wings. So, again, I do like Cleveland. They are by far the best to go out and challenge Boston, but I don't think they have enough. And, again, if they do get the edge, we're going to look at that matchup with Evan Mobley and see that he's going to force a little extra attention, a little extra efforts from Boston to have to guard him.
Ryan, that was terrific stuff, man. Really appreciate the time. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Anytime, guys.
Have a great night. Best of luck to your Houston Rockets in this upcoming series against the Warriors. It's Ryan Hollins, former NBA vet. Catch him all over Rockets television nowadays. And follow him on Twitter at @TheRyanHollins. Folks, unlock your winning edge with an unbeatable offer right now. Get full VEASAN Pro access to everything we do now through August 1st for just $59. Sign up now. You'll save 50% off the regular monthly price with a daily email recapping all the best bets from our hosts and guests, exclusive betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, complete with trends and analysis to sharpen your game, 24/7 video on the VEASAN Watch app, plus full VEASAN.com access featuring advanced analytics and pro betting systems. Every sport, every edge, one damn good price. Don't wait. Get full access through August 1st for just $59 over at VEASAN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. The playoffs are getting so close I can taste it. More picks, more winners up next. More cashing out with Joe Ceraulo.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Thursday night into your weekend, into your Friday morning here on the program. Sensational stuff right there from Ryan Hollins, former NBA big man. 10 years in the association, now all over Houston Rockets TV. And the Houston Rockets are not a team I would want to see right now in the playoffs. I'm not just saying that because of our last guest. I'm saying that because I've been saying that for a couple of weeks. Rockets 27-1 in pocket. And I honestly feel good about it. I like this upcoming Rockets-Warriors matchup. I really do. And you look at the odds in the West, and the Rockets are still sitting there. You grab them at 25-1. That hasn't changed one bit. You knew it was going to shorten up if Memphis pulled off the upset against Golden State. But that price, what I got, 27-1 by shopping around, 25-1 at DraftKings that I have in front of me, that price had the Warriors fully baked in, right? Wasn't any half-baked, no Ben and Jerry's flavors, just a fully baked Golden State-Houston first-round matchup. And that's why we haven't seen that move at all. We've seen plenty of other movement. Nuggets were at one point, 8-1? Now they're 14-1. How about the Clippers, who like a week ago were 18-1, jumping the Nuggets? Now you got the Clippers at 10-1 and the Nuggets at 14-1. It's a shame because I love the Clippers in that series, and I loved it plus $1.35 on Sunday night when our week here on Cashing Out began. Now at minus 110, I think it's better to play the Clippers games individually. I mean, they're going to be dogs, barring like a 20-point win here in game one. They're probably going to be dogs each of these first two games in Denver. Probably going to be plus money plays. You can either take points, or if you go money line, you can take them plus money. I feel like this has gotten to the point, being a pick'em, being juiced 10 cents each way, where it'd behoove you to just play the Clippers money line every game. Obviously, they're going to be favored when they're at home. But should this go 7? I mean, look, if the books, if the shops are saying it's a dead even series, they probably think it could very well go 7. Well, if it goes 7, the Clippers are going to be dogs 4 of those games, I'd bet. I feel like it's a better move. Play the Clippers money line instead of the series at this point. Plus 135, the series price was worth a play, and we got in on that. But at this point, I don't know if it's worth it. You look at the rest of the teams to emerge from the West. Clippers now your 4th shot, 10-1. Golden State 7-1. Sorry, I know that they're the Warriors. I still think 7-1 for a 7 seed's a little nuts. Lakers 6-1. I also think it's nuts that the Lakers and Golden State would play each other in the second round, yet they're the second and third shots. Thunder minus 40 cents. So those are the top 4. Bottom 4, let's go. Nuggets 14-1, Wolves 20-1, Rockets 25-1, Grizzlies $1.50-1. Yeah, I don't care what that price is. I can't sell you that pen. Sorry. Eastern Conference, Celtics juiced the most they've been yet, minus 50 cents. How about it? Cleveland, longer than $2, plus 205. Knicks, almost $10, plus 950. Indiana 22-1, Milwaukee 35-1. That's a series I'm intrigued by. How about that news? Dame time. Guess who's back? Crazy, because especially, that deep vein thrombosis is no joke. I'm not going to make light of that situation and say, Dame's back. Frankly, he's very lucky to be back. And the reports are they caught it early enough that with medication they could intervene. He's luckier than Victor Wembanyama, right? Dame is very lucky that he's able to play again. Just ask Chris Bosh. So Dame's not back game 1. There is a chance he could go game 2. No definite answer on when he will return, but there's a chance he could be back for game 2. If Milwaukee could steal game 1 without him, that would be huge. And I don't think you're going to get a price as generous on the money line as you will here in game 1 on the Bucks. Not if Dame's back, that's for sure. What are we getting right now? All of a sudden, DraftKings wants to take its time loading like it's my family desktop in 2003. Now I can't get a line on this Pacers Bucks game suddenly. Well, I'll wait for that to load, but I know that they dropped from, I believe it was catching 5.5 points to 4.5 at some shops. There we go, money line. Thank you to our great team in the back. I don't know why this website's taken so long, but there we have the money line on the screen. Almost plus 90 cents. Here we go. I got it back just in time. Thanks for nothing, computer. Plus 185 money line. The Bucks can pull this one off, then get Dame back after stealing a game on the road, being up 1 in the series. Watch out for Milwaukee. I don't think this Bucks team is a team anyone wants to play right now. You can look at them and say, disappointing regular season. That's good and well. That's fine. You're right. I'm not going to fight you on that. But I still don't think anyone wants to see the Milwaukee Bucks right now. You look at how they ended their regular season. How many straight wins to end the year? We're looking at 8 wins? They were 40-30. That's remarkable to me. They got that close to 500 late in the season. 74 games in. They were only 6 over, 40-34. Finished with an 8-game win streak. Still 2 games back of Indiana. But I think Milwaukee wins this series. The more I've looked at this, and I haven't played it yet, because earlier in the week I was like, it's a toss-up. The more I'm looking at this, it certainly is not priced like a toss-up. It's not priced anything like the Clippers Nuggets. Indy's laying some heavy wood. And this has actually come down. I want to say the Bucks were closer to plus 50 cents earlier in the week. Now the price is where the Clippers and Nuggets originally were. Milwaukee plus $1.35. I'm thinking I might go to the counter on the Bucks. Shorter series price than game 1. I'm looking at that game 1 price. 50 cents longer than the series. Could they steal that game? Obviously, you can play it on the conservative side. And, I have my father's voice in my ear going, take the points, take the points. Plus 185 on the money line, though, feels good. I might get there on that. We'll see. That'll be a TBD. Later on in the show, we might have a play on this Bucks-Pacers game 1. When is that? Saturday? How about some other series prices? Detroit has shortened up 20 cents. Plus 310, open plus 330. You know my stance on that. I like the over. 5.5 games. Open minus 115. Steamed to minus 130. Now it's come back a little bit. Come back 5 cents. minus 25 cents for the over. It just feels like the play. Unless something in the New York Knicks clicks and this team goes scorched earth against Detroit, if they play like they've got something to prove, I struggle seeing the Knicks making quick work out of the Pistons. I think this series could go 6 or 7. What are the exact outcomes for the exact games, not exact out. I don't want anything to do with exact outcome in that. 6 games is plus, all right, so 6 and 7 are both plus 250. Yeah, you could play that instead of over 5.5 laying 25 cents, right? Half a unit, make a unit and a quarter. Yeah, we'll think of different ways to play this one. Well, we'll ponder that as the show progresses. We'll do some math. We'll crunch some numbers. We'll call up Gil Alexander. We'll make it a numbers game. We'll figure out the best way to bet Knicks Pistons, whether it's over 5.5 or whether it's to get creative. Because there are a lot of ways to essentially bet the same thing, right? To bet the same idea, the same prediction, but get different odds. Like with the Lakers T-Wolves series, right? What was this? I was talking about it with Jared Moore, our terrific producer, before the show. I don't know if we have that graphic made and ready to go. Different ways to bet the Lakers. Because earlier in the week, I said I liked under 5.5 games on the series, which is plus $1.45. And then I was looking, and I don't know if I've got it right in front of me here. It might be on the other side, next segment that we dive into it. But there are other ways. There we go. Lakers to cover minus 2.5, meaning to win it in 4 or 5, right? Minus 2.5. So 4-1 if they win it in 5. That covers 2.5. That's plus 225. Thanks to our team for getting that graphic up because I didn't have that in my notes right in front of me. So under 5.5 games is one way you could play it, plus $1.45. And that doesn't matter if the Wolves sweep, Wolves win in 5, as long as the series goes 5 or fewer. But obviously, I don't think the Wolves are going to win it in 4 or 5. The reason I like under 5.5 is because I like the Lakers. Boom. Lakers minus 2.5 games. It's your way of saying the Lakers win it in a sweep or in 5. And that's, 80 cents better than under 5.5? So different ways to play the same thing. That's what we're going to be spending some of this show going over because there are just ample markets and it can be a lot. I'm going to try to help you figure out the best way to bet what you want to bet. Hey, horse racing fans, get ready. VSiN at the Track, the road to the Kentucky Derby, is live tomorrow and every Friday leading up to the Triple Crown. With key Derby prep races this weekend, we're breaking down the top contenders for this year's Run for the Roses. Join our experts, Mike Somich and Aaron Halterman, tomorrow, 2:10 p.m. Eastern on the VSiN YouTube channel at VSiN Live for expert analysis and insights. Don't miss it. VSiN at the Track tomorrow. Live, 2:10 p.m. Eastern, 11:10 a.m. Pacific, as we count down to the Triple Crown.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, here on a Thursday night, taking you into your weekend. No better way to start your weekend than right here, right now with me on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Had a good Thursday on the diamond. Finished 2-1, 1-1 on the plays we gave out this morning. Added a Royals-Tigers nerfy. Couple of our VSiN Pro subscribers who reached out to me via Twitter, at the Joe Ceraulo. Make sure you get involved in the show. You tweet at the show, we'll share it with the world. And I had a couple people reach out to me after the Christopher Sanchez K-prop got home. By the way, can we vent? Are we allowed to vent for a minute? I don't know if I could call this a bad beat because someone actually did tweet at us and say, is that considered a bad beat? I want to try to find the tweet so I can give our buddy Terry Ray, at Vegas Terry Ray, tweets, at the Joe Ceraulo. Does that nerfy at PNC qualify as a bad beat? Anyway, really liked the Sanchez bet despite the bad line. Yeah, wow, that got steamed up. How about we played at minus 115 yesterday on the program? That thing closed minus 50 cents. That's 35 cents of movement. My goodness, on the over 5.5. Terry Ray continues, anyway, I really liked the Sanchez bet despite bad line. I should have laddered it. I triple bet that for more cash for my NHL evening bets. And Terry, I hope those NHL evening bets did get home. As far as the Nerfy, I don't think we can consider that a bad beat. But man, nothing pisses me off like looking at a 1-0 game and seeing that first run scored in the only run scored in the first inning. Like, it would have been nice. You got 8 other innings. Would have been nice in a 1-0 game if O'Neal Cruz saved his bomb for his AB in the 3rd or in the 6th. Come on. I mean, if you saw the pitch, which is funny, this game started at 9:35 a.m. Pacific time. So, mind you, look, I'm doing the late show here, right? We're on 8 to 11 Pacific time. You don't go home and go to sleep after you're on air for 3 hours, right? I'm wired. I get to bed most nights 1:30, 2 in the morning. So I'll sleep to anywhere between 9 and 10 on a typical day. And I set my alarm for 9:30, woke up, immediately put this game on. Great, Andrew Heaney shoved. Had a couple of strikeouts, and then, we sweat out in a Med Rosario warning track fly ball out to end the top of the first. I'm like, great, Heaney made that look easy. Now let's see if T. Will can do the same. First pitch, strike 1 to O'Neal Cruz. Second pitch, damn it. Just like that. Second pitch. Hung a slider to a lefty in his wheelhouse. Down, slightly in, but down in the zone. I think that pitch was like 80 miles per hour, too. Like, come on. What are we doing here? I'm going to pull up how fast that pitch was. Because I think the hardest slider I ever threw was sitting at like 78. So I want to see how fast that pitch was from Trevor Williams. Here we go. Slider, 80 miles per hour. Come on. To a guy who's got one mission, one motive up there at the dish, and that's swing for the fences. Yeah, sent that one 442 feet. That was it. All she wrote. 1-0 the entire game. So that's unfortunate. So I had a few fans of the show in the DMs and the messages after Sanchez hits. Got to split the difference, right? That's why I usually like to give out 3 bets. Got to try to go for a profitable day. So I said, all right, let's do it. Royals, Tigers, Nerfy. And I'll tell you, that Nationals, Pirates, Nerfy was probably a better bet than the Royals, Tigers, Nerfy. Laid 20 cents for that. I know some folks out there were able to actually get it minus 115. I think the one we lost was the better bet. Yet the Tigers, Royals, Nerfy. Royals have first and second, none out, top of the first. And Reese Olson gets out of it. Then Lorenzen gives the Tigers first and second, 2 outs, bottom of the first, gets out of it. So 4 base runners, no runs. We get home there, make it a 2-1 day. Rest of the recap for games around the league on Thursday. How about the earliest game, Arizona, Miami? D-backs complete the sweep, 6-4 over the Marlins. Josh Naylor hits his 4th homer of the year. That was one of my favorite preseason bets. Jensen Lewis came on the show. Does a terrific job mornings, VSiN by the books. Gave out Naylor 25-plus and 30-plus homers at plus money. Pirates blank the Nats. There you go. 1-0 Pittsburgh. They take 3 out of 4. O'Neal Cruz, solo homer. That should say in the first is the only run of the game. I wish it was a solo homer. I don't know where that typo came from in the graphic. I wish it was in the 4th. Someone's trying to squeeze a lemon on my paper cut right there with that one. Yeah, I wish. The Athletics shut out the White Sox. 8-0. Complete the sweep. JP Sears, 6 shutty, 6 scoreless in the win. How about our boy Tanner Kern? Came on the show yesterday. Gave out Athletics run line minus 1.5. Lock of the century stuff right there. 8-0. And the Phillies, 6-4 over the Giants. They break even, split the series at home with San Francisco. Christopher Sanchez, 7 innings, 12 strikeouts. That was one of our other best bets. Over 5.5 minus 115. Should have done an alt market 10-plus play. Who knew? I mean, the guy had 5 strikeouts after 2 innings. So I got people tweeting at me, messaging me, oh, it's in the can. I don't answer. If you're going to message me when we have an over 5.5 and the guy's at 5 and say, great call, it's a lock. I don't care if he's thrown 30 pitches and he's got 5 strikeouts and it's the 2nd inning. A bolt of lightning could come down and take him out with my luck. I'm not answering your message until we go over 5.5. And we did. And then he continued to go over and over and over, all the way up to a dozen. How about it? What a showing for Christopher Sanchez. And the Phils get the win. That was a weird game, by the way, because San Francisco fought back a little bit. That was, 5-1 after the first? Phillies sent 9 guys up in the first inning. Giants got on the board 1-0. And then Jordan Hicks really struggled. I mean, Hicks got hit in that first inning, yet he still managed to recoup and go 7. So if you had a Hicks outs recorded play, you're sitting there watching the first inning going, my goodness, I'm sunk. What do you have, 30 pitches? 9 guys, 5 earned? And then all of a sudden, Jordan Hicks compiles 6 scoreless innings with 70 pitches the rest of the way and gives San Francisco 7 on their getaway day. Honestly, I mean, he may be the losing pitcher and he may have an ERA over 6 on the season. Impressive recoup there by Jordan Hicks. I don't want to say impressive outing because he still gave up a 5 spot in the first. But then to bounce back from that mentally, to compose yourself and go 6 straight scoreless innings, save your bullpen on a travel day, and keep your team in it. I mean, they were down, 5-3 when he left the game. Phils added 1 in the 8th. Giants got 1 top 9. And there's your final. Got 1 off Alvarado. He's shaky every time he goes. The Phillies have such a good bullpen, yet they elect to make, I think, their shakiest guy the closer in Alvarado. You can't trust that guy. Anyway, I mentioned that Tigers-Royals game. I don't think we ever gave out the final. 6-1, Detroit ended up winning it. Orioles, 6-2 over the Guards. Tanner Bybee takes the loss. Sugano, the rookie out of Japan, gets his 2nd major league win. How about Gunnar Henderson? Welcome back. Goes deep. Was that his first? Yeah, first home run of the year. So he was a little longer than 5-1. I think he was the most, if I saw this on Twitter correctly, Gunnar Henderson to go deep was the most bet home run prop at MGM at plus 525. And he got there bottom of the first. Not to lead off the game, but to lead off for the O's. Mariners-Reds was a fun one. That's what I was watching. After I lost the Nerfy in the Pirates-Nats game, I shut that off, put on the Mariners-Reds. 11-7, 10 innings. Mind you, the Reds were up. What a comeback. If you live bet the Mariners going into the 9th, good on you. Reds were up 7-5. I mean, this was a crazy game. 2-0 Reds after 1. 4-2 Mariners after 5. Reds get 1 back in the 7th. Mariners answer immediately. Reds put up a 4-spot bottom 8 to lead at 7-5 going into the 9th. And then Pagan, the closer, comes in and gives up back-to-back. I'm not talking just cleared the fence at Great American Ballpark. Gives up back-to-back shots to Cal Raleigh, 422 to right, halfway up the grandstand in right field there. And then Randy Arozarena next at-bat. Back-to-back. I don't think there were any outs. I think those led off the top of the 9th. Just after a grand slam from Jake Fraley that should have put the Reds up for good. Pagan coughs it up. Tie game. Go to the 10th. Mariners put up a 4-spot in the 10th and ultimately emerge victorious. Just their 2nd road win of the year in 6 tries, leaving Great American Ballpark 10-9. The Reds fall to 6-6. They played a lot of home games so far. 6-6 at home and 9-10 on the season. Got the break coming up. How about my Mets, huh? Lost 2 in a row for the first time since, come to think of it, I don't think the Mets had lost 2 in a row all year. They hadn't. They lost the series for the first time since the opening weekend in Houston. Disappointing. Take game 1 at Minnesota, lose the series. They return home to Citi Field, put a 4-spot up nice and early, and never looked back. Griffin Canning looked phenomenal, huh? 6 innings, 1 run. They beat Palante. Edwin Diaz gets save number 4. Francisco Lindor, with the most heads-up play on an RBI hit, turned a 2-run hit because he got himself into a pickle to let the 2nd run score and then sacrificed himself. That gave the Mets 4. They never looked back. Hope you don't look back. More cashing outs up next.